Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about work breakdown structure. So today's lesson is part of the project development module and we're going to take a close look at what work breakdown structure is. As you can see on the screen here, WBS in short means work breakdown structure. Okay, so the definition of it is a deliverable-oriented hierarchical decomposition of the work to be executed by the project team to accomplish the project objectives and create the required deliverables. So you can see that I've actually circled hierarchical decomposition. It means breaking down something, okay? You break down something. And what do you break down? You break down the work to be executed. So what do I mean? Let me set an example for you, okay? Oh, before that, let's look at it in a simple way. So work breakdown structure, right? It also means you can use it to define project scope. You can use it to estimate time, cost, and staffing. And also you use it to identify risk. So take for example, let's say you are going to throw a party. So when you want to throw a party, right, you will have to think of a lot of things like what guests do you want to invite, when do you send out the invitation, whether you want to decorate the party, the venue of the party, what kind of cake do you want to buy, what kind of food you want to offer to your guests, like presents, logistics, like what things do you need to buy, and do you need to set up and tear down, things like that. So in order to make your work more systemic, how do I say it? To make it more systematic. Let's say you have a team of people to help you with this party. So let's look at it. Let's say you have a few people and then you can actually break it down like that. There's no certain way of breaking it. You just break it uh, by sections or tasks. So let's say someone will take lead in planning, and then someone will do the logistic, and then you have to think about food, and then set up, and then clean up. So you have the broad task put down already. You need to actually break it further down by thinking of what are the subtasks under this main task. So when we talk about work breakdown structure, it is a very systematic structure. Usually we use Excel sheet to do it, Excel spreadsheet. It looks something like this. So this looks a bit complicated, and then some of you may actually recall something that we learned in web design, because in web design you have something like a flow chart, right? So this is the main website, and then you break it down, and inside that website, what do you have? It's very similar, but you can see that there are numberings. Okay, so you see this is task number 1. When you break task number 1, you can actually break it into a few components like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on and so forth. And then you can actually further break it down. Okay, break it down to 1.1.1. Okay, 2.2.1. Okay, this is wrong. This should be 1.1.1. Okay, so 2.2.1, 2.2.2. So what do I mean by that? You must be thinking, do you have a more specific example? Yes, I do. So on Mel, you will find a spreadsheet that looks like this. It's called work breakdown structure. So just now I mentioned we want to throw a birthday party, right? So this birthday party, we break it down into the broad tasks. So the broad tasks are planning, food, logistics, setup, and cleanup. So under planning, right, you can actually further break it into, okay, first you develop invite lists, and then you email out the invites, and then you review responses and check who reserves who makes reservation with you, who's coming, who's not, things like that. So here, right, to make it simpler and more convenient for you all, you can actually have this beside the task so that you can actually put a name to it. Like, the IC is maybe for this is John, and then the support will be Mark, and then how much time do you have and how much cost you're gonna use. Let's say if you are sending out invites through email, of course you're not gonna like spend any money on it. But if you are going to send out by mail, right, there must be stamps and then like invitation cards. So the cost incurred must be put here so that by the end of the day you can actually have a total cost over here. All right. And then what does it mean by precedent task? Meaning, can you do this without, okay, if there is a task that has to be completed prior to this task, then you have to write it down here. Okay, let's say you look at this one. So order desserts. So the precedent task is 1.3. Why is it so? Because you have to know who is coming, who is not. You have to know how many people are coming. So if there are 10 people coming, then you know you have to order 10 desserts for 10. Get it? So you cannot do it until you have the exact number of people. All right. So for food, you can actually further break it down into place order, collect order. You don't have to have the same person doing the two tasks. So Peter can be the one placing order, then maybe Mark can be the one going over to collect the orders. Okay, so you can see that there are actually quite a number of levels. Level 2 and level 1 are they are very important. Usually level 1 and 2 will encompass the 100% of the project process. So everything must be included in level 1 and 2. So level 3 is the work breakdown in detail. Okay, so let's say place order, but place what order? So you have desserts, you have cakes, then you have main dishes, things like that. But if you want to break it further down, right, like what dessert, right, it is a little bit too detailed. You have to think whether you really want to do so. Like, does the person order the dessert has to know exactly, like, do you have to put it down everything? The person knows the menu and that's quite sufficient already, right? So yeah. So logistics, setup, cleanup, you all can actually have a look and sort of like think through. So this is the systematic way of doing planning before your birthday party. So next on, I have two videos for you all to actually watch before I move on to the slides. I'm gonna like briefly talk about what work breakdown structure is some more, and then I want you to pay attention to what I say and also pay attention to the videos, because after the video and the slides, right, there will be a quiz. So there are 10 questions on this quiz. Please answer all of them, and then right after the quiz, you will know how much you have absorbed and digest. So after the quiz, you will have activity. All right, so let's get on to the video now.